What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So I posted something in the community section. It's an article about Deontay Wilder talking about Malik Scott. So y'all can read the full length of it, but I'm going to give you the basis of what he said. He said they were talking about his approach to this fight, this third fight with Tyson Fury. And he said, you know, Malik Scott pretty much didn't teach him anything new. He said that this has always been in him, and that his other trainers couldn't bring it out of him. See, him and Malik Scott have such a brotherhood that Malik was able to bring it out of him. Now, all of the people that jumped on the Deontay Wilder bandwagon and said, oh, his former trainer, Mark Breland, was jealous of him, and Mark Breland pretty much was lying, saying that, oh, you know, Deontay Wilder couldn't learn. He didn't want to listen. He wanted to do things his way. They criticized Floyd Mayweather Sr. for saying, man, he can't learn shit. He ain't ever gonna get better. Okay. They even criticized Chris Colbert for saying that Deontay Wilder, he ain't gonna beat Tyson Fury. He's just not good enough. Okay. Listen at these words. Malik Scott really didn't teach me anything. I've always had this. But he was able to bring it out. And Malik Scott will tell you the same thing. For one, I think that's disrespectful. Now, Malik Scott gave him credit, you know, talking to Radio Raheem, saying that, you know, he always had skills and this and that, but we're going to fine tune these skills and things of that nature. So how was Mark Breland lying when he just sat there and did an interview and said he's always had these things in him? My former trainers just couldn't bring it out of me. You understand what I'm saying? So the arrogance is, oh, I've always had this. First off, we haven't seen anything yet. Me watching the guy hit Mitch doesn't tell me he's going to win a fight. Me watching the guy hit a punching bag doesn't tell me he's going to win a fight. Me watching the guy dance around and, okay, he's moving different from what we normally see him do, you know, skipping around a little bit for a few seconds. Look, let's be real. It's a slap in the face to actually say that you're doing things differently, but I've always knew how to do it. Well, first off, if that's the case, then that means you were difficult to work with. So you were holding back on your own. You have a certain level that you can tap into if you want to. It just has to be brought out of you. Listen. It's like somebody going to college, right? Get the job that they want, right? They graduate, get the job that they want, and then they talk about how they did this all by themselves. You know, I went out and I got this. I had to achieve it and I pushed myself. Okay, yeah. But then tell everybody how you had people in your family watching your kids for you, so you didn't have to go to a daycare because you didn't have the money at the time. Tell the people how you had study groups and you had people trying to actually, you know, build your confidence up and telling you that you can do it, you just got to stay focused, and you had help along the way. But no, the arrogance is, nah, I already had this, I did this, right? Now, you have people that have situations where it does take somebody to motivate them to do certain things. But even for Malik Scott to say, Deontay's looking a lot sharper, everything is on point, everything is different. Well, if it's all different and you're that much better now, then for you to struggle against guys like Duhaupas and Gerald Washington and all these other guys that you should have been able to beat a lot sooner than what you did, the fact that you were even getting outboxed by these guys, my point is, if you had this all along, and Mark Breland is telling everybody, Deontay Wilder, he doesn't listen. I tell him, and you're saying he's jealous of you and all of that. No, so then what you're doing is arrogantly saying that, like I said, you were always better than. We haven't seen it yet. I'm just quoting this guy. We haven't seen it, okay? Like I said, hitting mitts and all that doesn't impress me. It's like, okay, yeah, we just see him doing something now that we. How many times have you seen videos of Deontay Wilder hitting mitts anyway? So I'm just saying, but regardless, what you're arrogantly doing is trying to take all the credit. Oh, I already had this. I'm that good. I did this. Malik just brought it out of me. It was already there. Well, if it was already there, then that means you prove Mark Breland right. But we know that that's bullshit. We know that that's bullshit. We watch you walk in a straight line backwards to don't know how to defend yourself. We watched you basically not know how to slip and counter shots. Don't know how to catch and shoot. We watched you not throw combinations. We watched you not, know how to dig to the body, work upstairs and, mix it. We watched you do a lot of amateur type stuff. So if that stuff was always there, when was it going to come out? And if it was always there, then you should have beat Charles Martin a long time ago and took his belt and unified. If it was always there, then, your manager shouldn't have stood there and said that you were just a baby. He wasn't going to put you in there with the likes of Vladimir Klitschko. If it was always there, because you was 30 years old and already, had 30 fights or more at that point. So, if it was always there and Mark Breland couldn't bring it out of you, no, my thing is, everybody's different, but with the trainer, your trainer is trying to bring the best out of you. They're trying to get you to that point where you are, fighting at your best. But for you to say all these comments about this guy is jealous of me and he didn't want to see me surpass him, and well, now you're saying that that Malik Scott didn't do anything but, because of your brotherhood with him, tap into, you wanting to do these things now. So because of him, you're able to exhibit the things that you already had inside of you. That makes zero sense to me, man. That's like, you hold back. That's like, somebody make music and they're giving you some bullshit, right? You're listening to their beats and you're going, Then all of a sudden they have a group and this music that they have for that group is flaming and you're going, hey, see that right there? That's what I want you to do for me. That means they're holding back. I'm going to give you some bullshit. My real shit is going to be for my artist. That's what they're doing. That's all that means. Okay, so for you to say he's able to tap into that, that brotherhood situation that you guys have and he brings it out of you. Yeah, Mark Breland was right. But at the same time, I think that Deontay's full of shit in saying that. I think he's just arrogant. He's a glory hound, and he wants to take all the credit for everything. And the worst thing that can happen to him, honestly, is the best thing that can happen to him. He goes in there, and possibly, because I don't really know as far as his intelligence is concerned. Because if he goes in there and get his ass whooped by Fury, and he's saying all of this shit, well, even if Mark Breland was able to bring it out you, what does it matter if you get beat the fuck up again? So when I heard him saying this, I'm like, yeah, see, one thing that Malik Scott's not able to do, just like nobody else was, and that's to humble you. It's one thing to be confident, but okay, let me give you an example, people. When I went and got my CDL license, right? I knew how to drive a car. I knew how to drive a stick, but I've never driven an 18-wheeler at that point. So that would be like, after I got my license, I'm going to say, the instructor ain't really teach me shit. I already knew how to drive. The instructor was just able to bring out things in me that I paid, more attention to or something to that effect, but they didn't teach me anything new. I already knew this. No, I didn't know. I read manuals, I've had a conversation, I've seen videos, but until you actually get in there, it's not the same thing. You just have a better understanding of what the expectations are and what you're supposed to do. Okay, but for me to sit here and pretend that I already knew it all, no, that's what he's doing. That's arrogance. It shows no real appreciation. He probably feels like he's doing Malik Scott a favor more than anything by having him employed in his camp. And regardless to how close they are, even when Mark Breland was the trainer, you know, Malik Scott was still involved. And he's his own boss, right? They work for him, so he could have easily, had Malik Scott come in and do certain things, and we see it all the time. There's several people involved in training camp. So, and the fact that you guys are friends. So, to say that is a slap in the face to Malik Scott, because Malik Scott ain't going to do shit about it. He's not going to say something to correct that. He's going to go with that. Oh, yeah, Deontay, oh, yeah, that's what he's going to say. That's bullshit, though. That's bullshit. We could look at fighters right now that we've seen have certain trainers. They were already good, but they got to the point where they wasn't evolving. Look, for example, right? We've seen a guy like Andy Ruiz part with his father, with his trainer, and go with Eddie Reynoso. We've seen Andy Ruiz fight against Chris Arreola. He didn't look any better. It's not so easy to just, boom, right? Switch like, for a lot of people. For most people, you've been with one guy for so long and this is what you've been doing. Now, the very next fight, that's why they always cherry pick. So they can look like, okay, we've seen something different. Okay, we saw Chris Eubanks since he's been with Roy Jones, right? Chris Eubanks Jr. looked different. His opponent wasn't one of the best fighters out there, but guess what? We did see some different things in Chris Eubanks. How he's going to stack up against the better fighters, that's what we want to see. We can go on. Well, we've seen certain fighters like, okay, no, not, he looked better hitting the pads this time. He looks better hitting the back. No. You see the work in the ring where, okay, yeah, he did look sharper. He did look better. He was doing this better. His jab was better. His movement, his head movement, whatever it may be. We have yet to see Deontay in the ring. So with all of this, him saying that he already had this, and so what happens? You just said that Malik Scott was able to bring it out of you. It's always been there. So that means, and they're talking a lot of shit. Oh, they're going to do this to Fury. They're going to put him in the ground. They're going to do this. They're going to end his career. Okay. If Tyson Fury spanked that ass again, what's the excuse going to be this time? Because according to you, listening to him right now, he's on a whole different level. He's ready, right? This is him with all his best being brought out now. So this is him saying all of this. So he don't want to give credit to Malik Scott. That's what that is. He doesn't want to give credit to Malik Scott. No, I did this. I built this. He was just able to bring it out of me. Okay? I give you another simple comparison. I used to write poetry and rhymes all the time. I made songs and did all of that. The music started changing, started sounding different. I already had these skills to write. And then what happened was I just got uninterested in music. A guy came along that he was doing some things that we could have benefited, and we could have did something. We did some things together. He didn't bring anything to the table lyrically or show me how to nothing. No, that was me. He re-sparked the interest with what he had, his beats and the stuff that he was. And I'm like, okay, we got together, and it was like, yeah. See, he re-sparked the interest. That's what he did. But if I was a songwriter who struggled, I would write certain things. My things are sounding the same. Now they have what you call artist development, and then someone is like, yo, why don't you say this instead? All right, you know how you do this, and why don't you start have a different, that is teaching. Because now you're helping me structure songs differently from what I normally did. Deontay is just too fucking arrogant and proud to say that. And to sit here and say, the man that's teaching you, the same one that was dancing with you, yeah, while they sleeping, we working, and you jiggling your chest around and all that, you see? So basically, you just needed somebody to help bring shit out of you. Malik Scott himself said, Deontay's stubborn as hell. And he said he had his moods and all that. I don't care about none of that, as long as he give me what I want. You see? He said that about him. So why is Mark Breland lying for saying the same shit? He's stubborn, he doesn't listen. Only difference is he's saying he's giving him everything he wants. Mark Breland is an accomplished fighter. Malik Scott didn't do shit as a fighter. But because they have a brotherhood, you're giving Malik Scott what he wants. And your own words was, he was able to bring it out of you. So again, how in the hell is Mark Breland jealous and lying and making up stories? This is what I mean, how Deontay Wilder says one thing, a little time goes by, he think everybody forgot about what he said last time, or maybe he even forgot, and he said something completely different. And all of the nut huggers sit there and act like they didn't hear what he said, or they try to give a different meaning to what he actually said, like he's talking over your head or something, like, oh, you get it, but we just don't get it, right? Let's see. You know, when you're not one of the minions. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. If Malik Scott is not teaching you anything new, and you guys are up late night listening to music, jiggling your chest around and dancing and training, then he's wasting his fucking time then. That's like somebody making your grown rusty ass get up off your ass and go get a job, or become an entrepreneur, do something to produce an income. And you go to a job. Do you know how to do this job before they train you? No. No. You can get all arrogant and cocky after you learn the job and talk about how easy you know your job and insult the new people, but then you think, man, when I was new, I was fucking up too. Everybody who talks like that is arrogant, they're self-centered. And that's one of the things that we always knew that Wilder had about him, that arrogant, self-centered type thing. The funny thing was, earlier in his career, he was different. He was more humble, man. He was more humble. And I said this a long time ago. It was like really after Anthony Joshua really blew up and took off and became champion, that's when he really started to show a different side. And people might say, well, how do you tie the one to the other? Well, all I'm saying is, time frame wise, that's the way it went. That's just the way it went. In terms of the time frame. Because that's when he started really tripping and acting like he had something against AJ. Which I don't personally care. But before that, he wasn't talking all arrogant and crazy like that. But some people, they'll say they change. I just think, no, I think that was always in you. And it just took a certain situation to tap into you to bring that out. Because when you really look at it, anybody can claim, I did this, I did that. Some people are self-motivated. They're self-starters. They don't need that push. Some people need it. But you said he didn't really teach you anything. You already had this. He just brought it out. So maybe if he gets his ass whooped, I can't really see him becoming humble. That's why earlier I said maybe the worst thing that could happen to him would be the best thing. But if he gets his ass whooped, especially really get his ass whooped, I feel like he'll find a way to blame it on Malik Scott. But how could he? All he did was tapped into it, right? I'm emphasizing on that. I keep for a reason. So you knew what you had to do, what you should have been doing, but you didn't. Like the video when he did and he said, you know, I get a little late. Now let me show you how he's a lying motherfucker, though. Listen to what he said. Now, I'm saying it this way because I'm speaking from the fucking heart. Remember that video when Deontay Wilder said, I got away with a lot of things, like stuff I should be doing, and that I should be doing, I don't, but it's back to the basics now. You know, I when you knocking guys out, you don't feel the reason to train hard and, do these things, but remember he said that. It's back to the basics. He admitted out of his own mouth, he doesn't train the way he's supposed to. You can see his scrawny ass thick legs, he don't like to jump rope. So that little bullshit he was doing with them heavy ass feet jumping rope, just to make the video look like interesting, like it was a training video or whatever the fuck. But bottom line, he doesn't do the things he's supposed to. Came out of his own mouth. And then he said back to basics, and all we saw was the same old thing. So all I'm saying is, to sit here and say that this guy's lying, he's jealous, and all this cutting the grass and getting rid of the snakes and all that. Well, listen, again, Malik Scott has always been involved, always been around. But because he made him head trainer, still doesn't make a difference. Still doesn't make a difference. Still doesn't make a difference. Anyway, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.